Hello, everybody. Today we are going to learn how to restring a classic Fender guitar. Any Fender guitar with these classic style tuners. And today we'll be working on this beautiful Fender Telecaster. It's a Vintera 50s series in Fiesta red. It's beautiful. Beautiful. I like this big fat neck. Really cool. Okay, so we're going to get into it. Let's do this restring. So, what you're going to need for this restring, um, obviously, a new pack of strings. For this restring, I'm doing D'Addario flat wounds 11 to 50. I really like playing these, especially on a telly. Um, and I'm going to use some clippers. Some people like to call them dikes or wire cutters. Essentially, any hardware store or auto parts store will carry some like this. You can get some from Harbor Freight for really cheap. I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. And your typical string winder. For today, I'm going to be using my small skill hand drill with a string winding bit. I'll put a link in the description for this as well. This is on Amazon. I don't recommend people that are not doing this professionally to use that. I would just use a regular string winder. It's what I typically use, but somehow I've misplaced mine. Your cheap string winder comes at like 50 cents to $1.50 depending on where you're getting it from. This guy's a little more pricey. I don't remember the price exactly on the bit, but it is available on Amazon. Okay, so what we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to loosen these strings. Okay, so we're just going to get right into that. Now the drill makes it nice and easy and quick. I like using this small drill because it's very low torque. And if I was using a big bulky drill, I would put it on its lowest possible setting to even do this. This is nice. It's nice and light. Charges with a USB, which is pretty nice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now that the strings are nice and loose to basically prevent getting slapped in the face with the strings. Now that they're nice and loose, you can go ahead and cut them all. Excellent. So I like to get the ones off the neck first. Now this is nice. It's one good benefit of the vintage style tuners is that when you're pulling the strings off, they just come right off. You don't have to unwind it and pull it through the hole. Okay, so we've got that. Now, let's bring this down a little bit. Turn this over and pull the strings out of the back. Now, little trade secret, if you have a string that's giving you trouble, like this high E string, this happens a lot. What you do is you take your thicker low E string and just stick it in that hole from the top. Since you're sticking it through the hole, you kind of jab it in there and it'll move the ball. And now you have access to the ball end and pull the string out. So that happens quite often. You'd be surprised. So at this point before the restring, you would dust off, any dust that's left over on the bridge, kind of wipe this off. What I like to do, if your tuners have a nut to tighten on the top or the face of the headstock, I guarantee you they're slightly loose and you can tighten them and the intonation will be better. Just about every time I restring a guitar, those are loose, and I tend to tighten them. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, they always tend to be loose. So these ones, luckily, are push in. These are very like true to the classic style. Let's go ahead and string this guy. Here we go. So I'm going to rip open the bag. Exposing a brand new set of strings, these nice flat wounds. Now before stringing any of the strings, I like to put all of them in the bridge first. Unless I'm doing a Floyd Rose or something, but we'll save that for another video. Okay, get these strings through. Excellent. Almost there. Now, depending on what strings you buy, by the way, they'll be indicated on the bag or the packaging what string order everything is in. D'Addario likes to make theirs different colors. One cool little secret too, if the balls are matching and you can't tell which string gauge it is when you're looking at these lighter gauge strings, you can grip them by the ball end like this and just flick them with your finger, and you'll see which one is the thicker string because it'll resonate less than the thinner string. Just a little quick pro tip. Go. Excellent. There we go. Okay, so I like to have all the strings and I kind of just like pull them to the side like a strain of hair. Okay, I don't want to scratch the guitar or anything like that. Very unlikely with flat wounds, but still. Okay, so what we're gonna do, step by step, we're gonna pull the string from the bridge, make sure that that ball is all the way through. So now that that's nice and tight, we're going to measure. With these classic Fender tuners, there's a hole in the top instead of a hole in the side that you string it through. So what you need to do is you need to cut the string to size before you string it. So this is where you grab your clippers. Now, a quick measurement is, and this was taught to me a long time ago, is you count from the tuners. You go 1, 2. And typically 2 will do it. If you're trying to get an extra wind out of it, you count to like the halfway point. So I like to cut it like right around 2, maybe just a little bit past the tuner. And again, I'm making sure it's nice and tight so that I don't have extra string that I don't want. And we're just going to go ahead and cut that guy. There we go. Okay. So now that we have our string cut to length, we're going to put it straight down into the hole. Okay? And now I'm going to bend it over that edge, and just to make it quicker for myself, I'll just go ahead and wind it around. You see? Just with my hands. And that way, if I was tightening it by hand, it'd be a lot less work to get that wound up. You just preemptively wind it. So let's see that again. We're going to see that 6 more times. So we're going to count again. Okay, 1, 2. Just a little bit past the 2 right there is my little sweet spot. Okay. So stab it in the hole. Okay, I'm going to turn this one a little bit just so I have that extra room. So I'm going to bend it over that edge. There's a corner. And you want it like nice and bent over that edge, and you have tension. And again, you're holding tension. This other move I like to do with my fingers is I like to hold down with my pointer finger, and then with my middle finger, I'm holding the string up to get tension. Holding it up right here. So with that, I'm kind of holding it in place so that I can string as I please. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can wind this one. No, it's a little short. So we're just going to go ahead and hit it with the drill. Okay. Now I'm holding it down just like that. That little finger move. I used to call it the dancer because it was like that. But like other people told me they don't really see it. But at a certain angle, to me, it just kind of reminds me that the fingers go that way. So the little dancer move, finger dancer. Okay, so again, we're going to count. 1, 2. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the hole. Bring it around the corner and hold it there. Let's get the drill. Okay. Again, I'm holding it with this little finger dancer move. Make sure I'm holding tension. Holding tension on the string, but also aiming it with my pointer finger so that it winds properly over here. Okay, so this one. 1, 2. Just a little bit more right there. Okay. Again, in the hole. Let's see if I can wind this one around. There we go. See? Wound it around. And when you do that, you want to make sure that the string that you're winding around gets under the first wind, so that it continues to stack under it and under it and under it. So let's grab this guy. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Well, what do I do to measure from here? So at this point, you got to kind of eyeball it. Keep in mind, this is a 1950s style guitar. So kind of think of it like, back then people didn't really care that much. So you got 1, and then you kind of visualize and you count 2. And a little bit past, and that takes me right to where the headstock is. Cut that. Let's see. Okay, now this one has a string tree. I like to wind it first and then pop it into the string tree. So I've got my wind. In fact, I could probably, no, I'll just go for it. Go for the drill. So I'm holding down with my finger and holding up with my middle finger to get that tension. And now I just kind of massage it into the placement for the string tree. Now we're on our last string. Okay, so from here, again, you don't have that indicator anymore. So I would count 1 from where you cut the last string. So I remember it was kind of right by the headstock, and count another one. So 1, 2. Very simple. If you cut it a little long, no big deal. You don't want to cut it too short. You could always cut off a little bit more, but you can't put string back on. So keep that in mind. Okay. And there we go. Perfectly strung Not too many winds all on here. I like to pull on the strings just to kind of stretch them out a little bit. Simulate string bending, kind of right here at the top of the fretboard. Move them up and down. Do the same thing over here, up and down. Okay, and that typically will stretch out the strings enough. And then you tune up and you are ready to play. So thanks for watching. I appreciate a subscribe and a like. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything I could do better for this channel. This is my first video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. And this was Dr. Strings. Till next time.